we're coming out dangerous.
Rockets going off.
Sometimes the brightest stars shine for the shortest amount of time.
Yeah, oh yeah.
They heard us all across Tallahassee after that one.
We got to bring home the W.
Oh yeah, we're gonna destroy them.
Put them on the Heisman watch.
They're fine, man.
Big Ben Player of the Year.
We're going to be a force to be reckoned with.
I played a little adult league goalie.
I felt like I scored in the World Cup, but I didn't even score.
Controversy? Question mark?
Pure chaos.
Go crazy was insane.
Chris Petley, he was the defensive MVP of the 2019 season.
Oh yeah, no, I'm in my prime right now. Let's go.
And hello there. Welcome aboard. Let's go indeed. Andrew Jupe, Trent Young, bringing you the Tallahassee Talk podcast here today. Howdy. How we doing today, Trent?
Excellent, Jupe. I mean, we just got a huge win. We finally beat New Orleans. How about that? It's been a long time coming, 4 years, and we finally got it. So I'm just proud of the boys for finishing up what we started.
Absolutely. Able to get it rocking and rolling, taking care of business at the Gene Trent, which, of course, still undefeated at their home stadium at the Gene Trent. Not something that everybody can say so far at this point in the season. So Trent, obviously recently removed from the game. Is that where we're going to go first, or we want to talk about the league as a whole? I know we got a lot on the table here for you today for episode 40 here, the Tallahassee Talk podcast. But what's your top line or your big thing, your Trent's one big thing that you want to get to?
Dude, we got to show them this game. Like I said, we finally beat New Orleans. So let's get into these goals that we got that finally took us over the edge.
All right. Give me a second to cue it up. I know you're going to want that first big dog. You're probably going to want that.
I need to pull it up as well.
That initial TSC goal, I'm assuming, right?
Yeah, let's start there.
That's the hot ticket.
First goal of the match.
Okay, so we get to hit that full screen. So this is going to be a little build up here, right?
Yeah, we got Trice playing the ball over top.
Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and get it rolling for the people. This one will slide around. Gave us a little run time here. So there's a back three working it around. There's your boy Trice. Okay, it's just been sent. Woof. There it
Clinical.
goes.
And that's why we got Trice playing outside back, right? I mean, so he can send those balls over top and spark the attack from the back line. And, you know, the back line's just swinging the ball all the way left to right, side to side, and then, boom, Trice sends that over top, and then pretty much out of nothing, Audie's able to get one.
There you go. So that was at cycle round. How about that right there? Boom, that Joel chest down. I think that would have kind of slept on that one.
Run it back. Highlighted the match.
Here we go. So this one's played out. Look at Joel at the bottom. Boom. Little chest down. Oh, give me some of that.
He still got it.
Yeah, man. So that's first goal. And then, of course, we talk about Joel, of course, the success here with the franchise. Some would say that he's got the golden touch, Trent, because you look at the game clock. After he chested that ball down, 40 seconds later, it kind of jump-started this whole sequence for TSC. So do you look into that at all there with the golden touch from JDC?
Yeah, we can go ahead and give him like an unofficial hockey assist for that one.
Mm-hmm. I feel it. Okay, so let's go back here, and then I think we got to slow this thing down. I know you can see here, this isn't the cleanest production ever, and it never will be, but we'll go half speed here, right? So here's your boy Trice. Skadoosh. A little left-handed delivery. And I didn't even notice Audie lets that go clean. I thought he brought it down. And then, so keeper in good position here. You know, you got that joker covered. You got nobody for TSC coming except for Big Rob. So Big Rob's coming late. What were you thinking at this point, Trent? You think he was going on goal?
I mean, he has to. He's bearing down one-on-one against the keeper. Like you said, no help. Rob's behind him. He's not going to cut that back and drop it off, right? So he's got a chance one-on-one against the keeper. He's got to go ahead and try to curl it around and back post. And, I mean, perfectly executed. That's exactly what Audie Jepson does, man.
Oof. Naughty. So at that point, there you go, 21st minute. Audie, third goal of the year. He now leads that TSC Golden Boot race. So that'll get it going there. So do we want to keep it chronological and go to the next goal, or do we want to keep it on the TSC side?
Yeah, I think we should go ahead and show our faithful listeners and viewers how New Orleans battled back in this match.
Okay, so we'll just jump forward. So I'm looking for 40 something on the game clock. I'm going to put this back to full speed here for the people. Sorry, Trent, we're off and rolling here just at the 40-minute mark game time.
Yeah, so we were able to get this free kick because Fontanelli had just gotten slid, so it wasn't a throw.
Mm-hmm.
And then we played the ball across the back line. Looks like that's John, plays it out wide. And Tristan played it over the top to Audie. And then Trice comes up, and he's got to make this slide here to try to halt the attack. But then by doing that, he gets left out to dry on the back end. So then New Orleans is coming down, and then they just play this ball across. And it just kind of bounces around, and your boy, the trash man, he's able to find it and just bury it one-on-one with the keeper back post. So
yeah, so right before halftime. So that was kind of brutal here for TSC as they go to the break. So once again, we go in tied at the break here, 1-1. And then we want to fast forward because we go late before anybody gets anything, Trent. We're going to have to go way forward in this joker.
yeah, it was a while. I mean, I didn't even know if anyone was going to score again or if, we were just going to finish with a 1-1 draw here.
So I'm going to get it running here just at 73:05, which I know is a little far advance of where it is. So we had a chance here as Alex Thompson blasts it, ricochets off.
Coach Thompson.
The back there. Yeah, so Fontanelli's going to go over here and take a corner. And then what do we got here, Trent?
Sorry, I'm trying to look at it through your screen instead of mine, just to make sure that everybody's seeing the same thing here.
Mm-hmm.
Looks like we got a throw in that's about to come. A little movement in the box. Ball gets spilled out. And then right here, there's a foul that got called on Alex, and he's like talking to the ref like, I wasn't even doing anything. And he's got to start tracking back on defense, and then New Orleans takes it so fast, nobody's back. And then Alex is there, he recovers and slides, gets a piece of the ball, but doesn't see it out, unfortunately. Trice is marking homeboy back post, but he just didn't expect the ball to be played there. And yeah, that was a real brutal one. I hated to see that one.
So, of course, New Orleans takes the lead, and then those kind of old TSC feelings start creeping in a little bit, didn't they, Trent?
Oh, yeah, because you give one up, you're up in the first half, and you hold on to it for about 20 minutes, and then 5 minutes before halftime, you let one up. So we've seen that before, and then you come out in the second half, and you're holding on, and then you give up another one, and it's like, dang, dude, like, here we go again. New Orleans is going to do it again.
Or just in general, they played really well here. Definitely the best game that they've played, I think, of the season. Obviously had halves that were pretty successful, but I think even the team would say that they really hadn't got their best game in, or a good game, good 90 minutes in. So this was by far their best effort. So we're going to pick it up here as we just crossed the threshold. So this will be a little backloaded. We'll have to run tape a little bit before we can get into this as we played around the back. As we get into the 80th minute here, but then some service coming from John, and it really jumpstarts everything.
Yeah, so he sends it up, and then the ball's played out wide to Alex, who plays a perfect ball. Audie leaves it perfectly, and it goes to Cody Sundquist, who's really been on a heater the last couple of games, getting some assists, and finally able to get his first goal for the Battle Lions. That was huge. But, I mean, I went back and slowed that thing down. Feel free to do the same, but Audie leaves that ball. It's coming right at him, and he just – defender has to mark him, but he just keeps going, takes the defender with him, and then that leaves Cody completely wide open back post. It was brilliant from Audie.
Yeah, let's see if we can go a little half speed here. But I love how enthused all of his Sac State boys were.
Oh, yeah, dude.
He looked like Ali was super pumped. And then you saw kind of coming back from it as we want to go back I only want to go back
so close.
5 seconds. Okay, here we go. This ball coming in from Thompson, so it should be half speed. So this will be nice and slow. Thompson again. Whoop. Cody, perfect position.
Yep.
Boom. And then taking care of business, man.
I just love that Cody was there back post because we saw a couple balls this game specifically, but a couple times throughout the season where there's been an incredible ball played across the face of the goal, but nobody back post to just dunk it in. And Cody was right there. He was so ready, dude. It was awesome.
Yeah, I like this little Sac State moment right here.
Yeah.
Boys getting it. That was cool.
Ali, he loves to hop in on those celebrations, man.
There you
Especially
go.
if it's his boy.
There you go. And so you see
Little
him
show.
and then he go get one with Big Rob too.
Yep.
That Sac State love. Cool stuff. Cool stuff. So that was that. But yeah, I mean, I feel like Sundquist really started to come on and had some nasty service against New Orleans out there.
Yeah.
That's when he really started to kind of fall in as you talk about, solid performances here. We want to go forward. Next goal.
Yeah, real quick, I just wanted to say, I think the reason why that happened is because he started to play in the midfield. We'd seen him deployed as that right center back, and so just having a little more freedom on the ball to push up, and I think that's what allowed him all that success against New Orleans in both games. Yeah. But yeah, let's go ahead and go forward.
Yeah, so this will once again be backloaded here, so this will have a little runtime. But TSC doing work over on that far side. As you can see, when the throw-in, so Diego was putting in some heat because he had recently just come into the substitution.
Like 2-3 minutes before that, yeah.
Come in to the match here. Ali doing his thing. And then here you go, Trent. Take it away, big dog.
Oh, man, it's so hard to see, dude. So Audie flicks it over top to Trenton Blake, who had an absolute screamer, bounces off the keeper and the post, and then is just sitting there on the line for Adrian Fontanelli to finally come up and just put away.
Yeah, this one, so we did go at half speed. This one we may need 2.5. So we're going to go slow-mo here. So this one, here you can see Trent. So he puts a little flick onto it. And then look at this. This is the masterpiece by Audie.
Yeah.
Scoops it with the outside of the right, back to Trent. So right here, I thought Trent Blake was on. I thought he was going to rip that into the back of the net, inside of the leg, off the post of the keeper, bam, and then Fontanelli takes out the trash there and just rips one. TSC once again the advantage.
Yeah, man. I mean, you don't want to say it all starts with Audie there because it was a really good build-up up until that, but that flick that he had was just world-class over the defense and just right to Trenton, and he's one-on-one with the goalkeeper, megs him, which I didn't realize until just now, bounces off the leg, hits the post, and then goes to Fontanelli. That was just an incredible play there from Jepsen. Yeah. From all of them, actually. But
yeah, that was huge. That was huge. But kind of that formational buildup he talked about, you saw the left side kind of activity going on as we see the continued celebration. But as we track it back before then, I'm not going to try to find it because we'll just get caught in going backwards. But Sundquist and Diego over on that left side were like really relentless on the defense. And so they kept winning balls and they were getting into dangerous positions. And so you can see New Orleans having to shift those personnel over to our offensive left side, their right. And so what that did is it opened up this near side on the camera, right, which would be the TSC attacking right side, which led itself to all this space. And you see Ali turn, come back this way, and then that's what kind of jump-started everything going back towards it, Trent, is to open up that space to allow Audie, Trent, and then to get into dangerous positions. And obviously, Adrian, fantastic run on the backside. And you talked about Cody coming into his own, right? As far as it feels like he's kind of getting more impactful. We're starting to see the draw, right? And I think Adrian, especially the last couple games, him coming into the fold as well. And you can see both those guys because it's tough for midfielders sometimes, especially if you're on the ball a lot to get into that flow. But it really feels like those two guys are coming on here late and able to get it in, man. Got the lead and held on.
And held on. I think that was the biggest thing is, it's like, okay, now we're finally winning again. Like, please, for the love of God, just see it out, boys.
Yeah, it had the feeling of that Southern States game last year where we got the late win. Speaking of Sac State, shout out Alejandro Padilla, put that one in the back of the net, gave us the advantage, and then just the assault coming on there late. You had the free kicks, which led to Monroe getting his second yellow. So he got tossed. We were down to 10, but also him and Varela collided, And so they were checking Varela for like concussion protocol and stuff like that. So at one point when they took the free kick, and this is what blew my mind, it was 11-on-9. New Orleans was +2 people up, but they still had their keeper and somebody back centrally. So that took it into a 9-on-8 field player versus defense. And then obviously we had Gonzalez. So they made it a 9-on-9 game, which to me, if that's the scenario, okay, I get that having the keeper on standby, you don't want to get chipped, whatever. But why not bring that other guy into the mix and then you just rip it into the wall? It was kind of a poorly taken kick, which, hit or miss on those, right? But they didn't use their numbers, which was wild to me. They knew that they were 2 guys up and just kind of, I don't know. And then they missed it, and then we put it into the stands and game over, off into the sunset. But that to me was wild. Luckily, I'm good with it, right? TSC
Oh, yeah.
kind of got bailed out there, so that was good. That was good for us. So I'm all good with that.
Yeah, we'll take it. But I know New Orleans is going to be tough when we got to go and play them again, and they're going to want some revenge, and they're going to want to avenge that loss that they just had.
Yeah, third date with New Orleans.
Getting pretty serious.
Yeah, it's getting pretty serious. Absolutely. So where to next, Trent? So we went through the New Orleans game. Where you want to go?
Table talk.
Okay, yeah, let's get into some tables. So I do have some slides for us. So let me throw that up there. Shabam. So, of course, want to reiterate that this master table, for those of you who don't know, I think most of the TSC faithful are aware of this because we've been trying to hammer it home. Most of the league seems unaware or they just don't get it. But this is largely irrelevant. It essentially is going to go into the split. So it's all about the West and the East right now, is taking the master table, splitting it in half to your respective groups. We've been calling them subconference divisions, Trent, but the league, the National League, likes to refer to them as groups, creatively put. So we have our Western group and our Eastern group. So here's the split going right now. What sticks out at you?
Pensacola, man. I mean, especially with the schedule that the Battle Lions have, playing Pensacola again at home this Sunday for the 850 Cup, which we'll get into later. But I mean, just seeing Pensacola at the top of the West so far, I mean, normally you feel like it would be New Orleans. So obviously they just dropped some points against us. They're a little down on points per match. But I mean, Pensacola, I think this is definitely going to be the most anticipated, most hyped up meeting between our two teams. And I think these are the best two teams that both of us have had, Pensacola and Tallahassee, over the last 4 years.
Yeah, that's fair. Yeah, it's interesting. Yeah, something to think about, right? And so, of course, you look over at the East, and I mean, really, there's a good spread here, but these incorporate all competitions. So you wonder what goes into that. So you can see at the bottom there, this is not just a Western or Eastern thing as far as who they've played. So the points per match does get a little bit inflated because you do have those 2 global games that they put through. I think, what was the aggregate on that? 12-1. Not only getting the 6 points, but I think they got like a +11 goal differential out of that, which, scheduling quirk. We don't have to go down to Naples, right? But also we don't get the benefit of getting that, like a GC2PL, whatever, team quality coming out of Naples, which, by the way, is definitely a different club than Naples United, Global Soccer Pathways, for sure.
For sure. Completely unaffiliated.
So, yeah, that's the table as a whole. So this goes interesting. And do we want to kind of fold this into like playoffs? Because I think this is where naturally that transition might make a little more sense here, Trent.
Yeah, let's do it, man.
Kind of going into that fold, because basically I say that the big table is irrelevant. So the big table, this one, right? Because the playoffs in the past where it's just like, okay, top 4 in the big table, and then we'll go on. But the big table doesn't matter because they're doing it divisionally. So, of course, it's top 3. That's why you can see the red line. Top 3 from each would go. So we, as we do, Trent, like to get a step further. So we said, all right, so if we were going to get it, then what exactly would that look like? So shabam, there's your projected playoff bracket. Here, of course, the number 2 seed is going to host 3, and the 1 seed is going to get the first round bye. So kind of what you would think, right? Pretty simple. The East and the West will not cross over until the championship game. So let's say if that was Jacksonville, Really, as long as it's not Miami, we'd be playing either of those teams if we get there for the first time all season. So, you know, put up against New Orleans, who, if projections hold, we'd be playing them for a fourth time here if that 2-3 matchup were to hold. But thoughts on the old bracket here, Trent? This is the first look that I've seen from anybody putting together a projected postseason bracket here.
Yeah, I would agree. Same here. I mean, that would be really silly to have to play New Orleans 4 times. But if we got to do it, I guess it's what we got to do. I like the new playoff structure because now 3 of the 4 teams in each group get a playoff berth. And so, I mean, now you're fighting for not only home playoff advantage, but, you're fighting for a bye as well. So that's huge. And if you're able to get a bye and host, I mean, it's just double trouble. So it's still possible TSC is able to get into that driver's seat. Getting 3 points over Pensacola Sunday would really, really go a long way in that department. But, I feel like the West is just totally up for grabs. And I hate to say it, I feel like Columbus, even though they're only a 1 point per match, like I feel like they've still got some life, man. Like, they're not dead in the water. They still got to fight. And so really anything is going to happen out of the West, but I definitely feel like it's going to be Jackson, Naples for sure out of the East. And I mean, we'll see what happens the rest of the way with GSP in Miami. No telling, huh?
Yeah. I like the South Florida shadowy cabal or the consortium, however you want to take it for those 3. Yeah, but that'll be interesting kind of going forward. And as we progress through here. So I know we had kind of planned to go into some other stuff, but maybe it seems like as we talk about it, kind of going into kind of where we see the rest of the conference. Do you want to go ahead and jump forward on that, Trent? Would you be cool with that?
Yeah, for sure, man.
Okay, so as we kind of talk about it, so you wanted to lead into it, but I didn't want to get too far down that road before kind of setting it up. So I'm going to get your power rankings here. You cool with that?
Let's go for it.
Okay, so of course we talked about the league as a whole. So this will incorporate everybody. So that's how you can see kind of current standings: 1, 2, 3 West, 1, 2, 3 East, what that would look like in a playoff format. But Trent, let's get into your top 5. So this is conference wide. So give me some clarification because I know everybody's got a little different criteria. I told you give me your top 5. I didn't give you any explanation. So how did you perceive that, or what was your criteria? What was your evaluation?
I took it as top 5 teams that are rounding into form for the playoffs. So, teams that are going to be in the playoffs, or at least we would assume, and then who would be the most dangerous and rank them. So obviously I put Jacks 1 because they've got the playoff pedigree. They've won this league plenty of times. But there is a huge asterisk next to their name, man. I've got to say, like, this isn't the same Jacks team that we've seen. They're rebounding a little bit. They're coming back, but, we've seen them be the number 1 team out of 94, 100 teams out of everyone in the country before. So I know this isn't that same team. So I think that they're still gettable. But overall, I've got to go with them number 1. Number 2, of course, riding the high, riding the momentum. Big one against New Orleans. I'm going to go ahead and put Tally up there. Homer pick. But I mean, this feels like the year that if we ever were going to do something, get into the playoffs, make some noise, I really, really feel confident about us this year. I've got New Orleans at 3 because they beat us on the road 4-3. They played us really tough here at home the other day. They've had a good season. They're up, and they're just a really good squad. And I could easily see them coming through and somehow winning this Western group out of the 4 of us. So I'll go with New Orleans 3. And then I know a lot of people, if any Pensacola fans are listening, because if any group was going to listen from our rival fan bases, it would be Pensacola.
There you go.
I know they're going to be ticked at me for this one, but I just foresee TSC finally breaking through, winning the 850 Cup on Sunday. I feel like that puts Pensacola back a little bit, and they might not be able to recover for the rest of the season. So I hope. No offense to them, just selfishly speaking. And then Naples, they're the number 2 seed that I've got coming out of the East. And so I've got them at number 5. Really, it could be Columbus if Columbus turns it on. I'd like to revisit this in another week or 2 if at all possible, kind of update these. But that's what I got.
Okay, absolutely. So as it stands here, post-match week 6, pre-match week 7, as we have yet to get into any games here as we speak, I got a little bit of a different feel. So here's my kind of top 5. So I went as far as track record, form, and I guess less future loaded than kind of what you were saying as far as going forward. And I think I had more past and current loaded. So Pensacola, I got going on right now. I think they've been playing really well. They escaped versus Columbus, but it felt like they really dominated that game. Obviously, on a points per game basis, it's kind of hard to evaluate them with those 2 global games because they do get the ballooned results. But at the same time, you've seen other teams kind of fall forward against global. So Pensacola, I think they've got the biggest road win in the conference this year, going to New Orleans and taking that from them. So for that, I've kind of got them bolstered up. And then when you look about them, only team above 2 points per game, understanding the global situation. Number 2, Jacks, I think they showed a jump forward against New Orleans of what we could see. But I also see some missed opportunities, and you can't just take that global game off the table. They lost to global soccer pathways, and that is a massive black eye. I understand they took what I've been told is a C, potentially their D team as far as their personnel and, as far as the hierarchy of the squad, right? Just like any kind of national or club team does, depending on whether it's exhibition or whatever. Maybe they just didn't take them seriously and they got caught with their pants down, and, global soccer had a benefit going there. TSC, I still don't think has played their best ball yet. So I think going forward, I do see it, TSC hopefully jumping up. Obviously, the Pensacola game will be a huge test. But for TSC, I'm still waiting for it, but I'm liking the trend. New Orleans still solid. They had some opportunities against Jacksonville that they didn't put home. I thought they got outplayed, but I thought it could have been closer. And if they didn't go down to 10 men, that might have been a little bit of a different story. I could have seen a 4-3 game or a 5-3 game out there. Still would have lost out in Jacksonville, but I think they showed that they're competitive. They're up from last year. They definitely strike me as, even if it was a 4-team playoff out of the 8 conference, I would put them up there. And I got Columbus number 5. I don't take the East seriously outside of Jacksonville. I think Columbus really, so you saw it, they gave Naples a run, let up a goal down there, but they dominated Naples and Columbus. And so when I'm looking at an evaluation of cross-conference games, I really don't see anybody showing up except for Jacksonville. So I think the West is strong. I've been pushing that narrative. I still believe that. And Columbus, like you said, they're not out of the West chase either. They've still got 2 more games with Pensacola, I think. And then they've got New Orleans and they've got us 2 more times as well. So they've still got some opportunities. Nobody's out in the West right now. Basically, any team could come through and get that 1 seed. So I could see any of these teams going 1 through 4. It would be a heartbreaker to see TSC end up at 4 and miss this expanded playoff that everybody gets in, it seems like. But that's my kind of rationale for the top 5.
I mean, and sorry, Jude, but that's what's so tough about it, right? Is like with the West specifically, like a really good team is going to miss out on the playoffs this year. So
Yes.
Whichever one you want to pick, it's going to stink for somebody because those are 4 really strong teams. And actually, after you talking Columbus stuff, I kind of want to redo mine, but we'll save that for next week. But Columbus, man, that's going to be tough.
There you go. Absolutely. So we can slide in and we talk kind of the split. So here's your divisional split. Obviously, it makes sense as your 1, 2, 3. We talked about those as far as the West. And to me, pretty straightforward. Any further explanation here for the power ranks?
I don't think there's any needed.
Kind of criteria. Obviously, you like where TSC's at. You talked about Pensacola, and then basically it's just standings over in the East. Kind of have what you have going on. I'm kind of a similar vein. You saw what I had in my top 5, so I played that out in the West, and then I just went off table standings. I wanted to move it around, but you just can't. Global's clearly the 4th. Jacksonville's clearly the 1st. Naples, we've seen some good and bad. Miami is competitive, but they're just not getting results right now. And so based on what we had for the top 5, I'm going to carry that over into my East. So this is basically, I guess mine are just what the tables look like right now. Looking back, I didn't realize that, but that's where I'm at this standpoint.
I purposefully made sure I didn't look at the updated table because I just wanted to go with what I was feeling. So that's how I felt.
There you go. Makes sense. Makes sense. Okay, so we'll go back. Do we want to dip back into the New Orleans pool then and go back through a little of the game? and check out some cool moments there?
I don't have anything left from the game unless you do.
Or we're going to go to the images of the game, the snap.
Oh, yeah. Did you get that one of Audie? There's a really good one of Audie.
Got a bunch of them here. So let's get into it as far as we go through here. So these are like moments of the game. So I wanted to shout out some of the great community photographers that we have going on and people doing work as we slide this back up. So these are just some like cool moments from the game that we thought we could just kind of like show to light. This is from Mrs. Wallace here, of course, doing some good work. But a couple good moments here, Trent. What's got you thinking here on these images? They say a picture is worth 1,000 words.
That is one thing that they say. I just love the chemistry there with Sloan and Coach Cam, because you can tell like those are bros.
Jorge. That's Jorge, big dog.
Oh, dude. Okay, I'm sorry. It's a lot smaller on my screen.
Yeah.
All right, Cam and Jorge. Yeah, they've obviously got some chemistry, and it's just cool seeing like the old guard and the new guard there, the keeper union. Cam was here last year making huge starts game in and game out, and now he's, passing on some of that wisdom down to Jorge. So it's just really cool to see him still around the club and being involved, and just a very wholesome moment there, sharing a laugh. And then you got Audie just giving out high fives, kissing babies, signing autographs.
There you
being
go.
the man of the people that he is.
Scoring goals. All
Midwest
the
nice.
There you go. Absolutely echo that sentiment. Love the keeper union. We always talk about it strong at TSC. Love that Cam's still around the program and he's still involved. Don't know him super well, right? But here he's a great guy, and so cool to see all that. And him still being involved. He's a great part of TSC history. And I don't want our new people to forget that, or the people who are seeing the new versions, 23, 24, right? Or maybe just 24. We want to bring this history back into the mix, as TSC's come a long way, Trent. Let's keep going. These are D-Jacks. D-Jack's been killing it all season long on the field. So we got a couple of the new guys going here, Trent.
Yeah, I'm really loving the one on the right of Ali. It looks like, you got the defender on the ground, and he's standing so triumphant, like he just slung him down himself. And the ref is right there, and he's coming for the ref next.
Yeah, I love that. Yeah, he did just drop that guy, so I do love it. That's like a hero shot. It's like D-Jax did so well to come up from like underneath, so it's kind of like that traditional hero shot that they kind of tell you about. Then of course you got your boy Audie in the zone, and then that may be that first goal. And then because you see Trice in the background,
yeah,
he might have just delivered it. I think that was right before he slotted it home first half. Man down, Trent. Sorry for that jarring audio, folks. Trent Young is back. He wanted to throw that to the next slide. He got excited. Kind of like the excitement over here in that right photo, Trent. Got a couple more here. This is post third goal celebration on the right. And then that's just a shot of your boy Monroe, just looking smooth as gravy there, delivering it out of the back.
Yeah, man, we sure are going to miss him this upcoming week, but luckily he'll be back the game after that. But I thought he played a really phenomenal game, and smooth is a great way to describe him. He's very smooth on the ball.
There you go. And love that celebration from Fontanelli. And then I accidentally cropped Diego out on that left, so my bad. Then you got Coach Thompson, and then the boys coming in there. That was a great moment there for TSC. So we got some more, but we got to transition into the other slides here, Trent. So, of course, bear with me as we track back for those. But as we come in here, more action shots. How about the couple of the attackers? Coach and Jose up here, left and right, respectively.
Dude, I wonder if that's the pass that Alex sent in to Cody. It's a very similar position. He had his head up, and he was on the sideline there. So that could have been the action shot 5 seconds before we scored the game winner. Or, I'm sorry, the equalizer.
There you go. Plus, you got your boy Uncle Kenny in the background taking notes with his half pants on.
3/4.
Yeah, the what's it? Executive director of the National League.
Whatever he wants to call himself.
Executive chairman there. And then Jose on the attack front there. How about a couple more? Johnny and Big Rob.
Yeah, dude, Rob was dangerous again against New Orleans this week. So he's huge, man. I'm so happy to have these Sac State guys because he's just lightning in a bottle every time he's out there on the pitch.
Yeah, super exciting. He's had 2 really good games against New Orleans. Hoping for a third later here this season. Oh,
Woo!
how about that one right there?
Dude, that's the man right there. I don't even have any words.
I wish he had the shades on. So we were watching the ASG Battle Line game, which kicked off a couple hours before the TSC senior team game. He had some sweet shades on, but he knew the photo was coming, so he had to lock it in there. But that's your boy. All right, what do we got going on here towards the future? I think we got one more little set here.
Oh,
there's a couple good ones right there.
The other man.
There you go. Of course, the Prez looking slick. You talk about the shades. Little Victory Monday situation there. And then that on the right, that's what you're talking about, that Audi picture. That's the flick that sent in Trent to have the shot to the deflection that led to the goal on the backside.
That's the one, dude. Like, just seeing his foot, like, completely horizontal like that to get, like, the proper spin and flick on the ball is just crazy. He's a madman. And then Sunday, we got the game against Pensacola, Father's Day. Chris Petley is everyone's dad.
There you go.
Here in Tallahassee.
Absolutely, Daddy Day. Got to get off to a big start here on Sunday. Kids 13 and under getting in free. So a very economical and savvy way to spend the day with the family. Kids getting in free. A little 6 o'clock kickoff. So a little early dinner. Or maybe if you're a late dinner person, the kids don't have school on Monday. They're Trent, so you're good to go.
School's out for the summer.
Speaking of the youngsters, how about ASG? Just want to give a quick shout out to the GCPL2 team. ASG Battle Lions played PFC Trent, and the youngsters didn't look too bad.
You can't call them youngsters because we got a fairly elder statesman on that team. But yes, they looked really good, and they're just fun to watch, and it's really cool whenever we get out there early and we're setting up for the game and get to see them out there and catch up with everybody. So really happy that they got a program and that they got the result. 5-3, man.
Absolutely. Super big game against Pensacola. I say not bad. I actually said really good. They were fun to watch. And they were just kind of up and down. And that was you could see the offensive quality on both sides, Trent. Boom, 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 boom. And they were just absolutely rolling. Cool to see Bruno out there. And then, of course, you see the future of the city. You have some elder guys in there. Of course, our boy Zuri, Kyle, some of the other ones. But great to see the youngsters get involved, Burkholter, and the youth movement, Trent, because TSC's building. I'm ready for the next chapter. We've seen our Johnnies. We've seen, our Corey Osgoods. Now we're kind of in that next generation of the Ethans and the Sloans and the Trenton Blakes. And, I mean, this is kind of chapter 3 or maybe chapter 4 because I think chapter 1 is because GCPL pre-COVID. But, chapter 4, I think we'll see a couple of these guys.
I mean, hey, this is what they need to be doing, right? They're still around the program. They're staying fit. They're hanging out with Bruno, right? That can't hurt your chances to get back into the team.
There you go. Absolutely. So let's keep on rolling. Do we want to talk about kind of the situation leading into Pensacola? Do we want to talk about recent results just to catch people up in case they want to know what's going on with the rest of the league? What are you feeling?
Recent results sounds good.
Okay, so yeah, let's flop over back here. So, of course, give me a chance to get some of these editing situations going on here. So I have a little, this is just a general thing, a little buy and sell, Trent.
You buying it?
There you go. Well, for short term, I think these 3 are up. The other 2, obviously, with the results are down. But take it as you will. So, of course, this is just an interesting little cross-group rivalry. For your record, the West leads the series 4-2. Obviously, Pensacola helping the cause there with 2 victories over Global. But pretty even. We saw Columbus and Naples split like we talked about. We beat Miami. Basically, except for the Global Pensacola game, every home team has won this series, which kind of makes sense, right? It's like we're 7 hours away from Miami. Columbus is 7 hours plus away from Naples. New Orleans is 9 away from Jacksonville. So win these lengthy road games, it makes sense that ultimately the home team is winning. But just wanted to throw that out there as, we kind of spin this narrative. It is based with some facts, right? So it's not all shenanigans. It may be hyperbole sometimes, Trent, but we do have a factual basis for most of our stands.
Most of it, but some of it is speculative.
That's what we do, right?
That's where I come in specifically.
So last week, New Orleans, Jacksonville on Friday, Pensacola, Columbus, blah, blah, blah. Those are your results. Obviously, your boys with the big 3-2 victory. And then we have that again. Here's what we look for week 7. What's your most – okay, I'm going to take us out of the picture because obviously the biggest, baddest rivalry final is the top dog on Sunday, right? The elusive one, the big kahuna, El Copa Grande, whatever you want to call it, right? Everybody loves them some A50 Cup. And, of course, that's what lower league soccer is all about. So that's the biggest game of the week. So I'm going to take that off the table. What's your next most interesting game? Got a couple midweek games, a little Tuesday, Wednesday, and then head into the weekend. Everybody getting in on the weekend.
Would you believe me if I told you Global Soccer Pathways in Naples?
On Saturday.
Yeah, I'm kidding.
The definitely not interclub scrimmage. Definitely 2 separate organizations going at it on Saturday down in Naples.
I don't want to watch that. I don't want to know what happens. You
Well,
can check
they
in
don't
on
stream
that.
games, so you couldn't watch it.
Oh, that's right. Yeah.
They refuse. Both clubs refuse to stream games.
Because I keep forgetting the one time that I did see a Naples game, it was because Jacksonville went down there and they filmed it. So I just associate, since it was their stadium and their game, that they filmed it, but that would be incorrect of me.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Anyhow.
Yeah. So, I mean, that's the thing, right? You're picking your battles here. This is a distinct violation of league rules that you're supposed to stream out games. So this isn't being pursued for either Naples team. And then, you got the National League picking some fights and, kicking Tulsa Athletic out of the National League, right? So interesting where we pick our battles, but just as a side note.
Yep. No, all jokes aside, definitely Wednesday. Columbus hosting Pensacola. That's huge for the West. That's huge for the whole league. So, I mean, if we're able to get a draw, we can take some points away from Pensacola that way, and that keeps Columbus behind us. Or if Columbus gets the win, and that'll inflate their points per match, but obviously that brings Pensacola back down. So that's going to be interesting, man. Wednesday night. You know what time that's going to be? I got to tune in for that.
It's Eastern. It's in Columbus, so it'll be 7. So
okay.
And they do stream from what I saw. So it will. That's the thing. If Columbus, who they played really well against Naples at home, if they can get the full 3 against Pensacola, the Western table is going to get sandwiched, because that's going to put PFC sub 2 points, and then it's also going to put Columbus in kind of that 1-4 range, which that's where New Orleans is right now. 1-4, 1-2-5. And so once again, it's back into the mixer. And then you go into the weekend. Let's say that happens, and then all these teams go at it again. Columbus would be able to jump New Orleans, and then we could jump Pensacola potentially if those results all hold 3 points across the board. I think there's going to be at least one tie in those 3 games, but the Wild West continues to entertain.
Is this the biggest match week of the year? At least thus far.
Thus far, yes, because I think this really sets the table, because this will have everybody kind of circling around, especially in the West. I think it'll go forward. And counteracting that, so we got Tuesday, Saturday in the East. Table standings, do you think anybody pulling an upset in any of these matches?
What defines an upset other than Jacksonville losing in the East?
Current standings. So, Miami is higher than Global. Naples is higher than Global. Jacksonville's higher than Miami. Is anybody going to get an upset?
I don't think so, no.
I don't think so either. I think 3 points to all. I think Miami's going to beat Global. Jacksonville's going to beat Miami. Naples will beat
themselves.
Naples will beat themselves. But the blue team will get the points officially in the table. Yeah, man, the Columbus, like we talked about in the conversation, they're going to dictate a lot of what happens in this table. And the West is indeed wild. So that's kind of a preview that we have going here. I thought it was pretty exciting to get after it because some teams trying to change their fate here, Trent. So it should be interesting. But of course, we don't want to sleep on it. We've been talking about it.
Uh-oh.
You know, this Sunday, we got
Sunday.
the big one coming up. The big one. So, there she is.
Oh.
In all her glory. In that picture, I love that they have contrasted the person in the background because that makes the trophy look enormous. Like,
Yeah.
that looks like a 6-foot tall trophy, and I wish it was that big, but it is not.
Well, put a blindfold on and it can be.
Yeah. I mean, in my mind, it's like an 8 to 10 foot tall trophy.
It's like Christ the Redeemer.
Yeah, basically. It's like a combination of the Stanley Cup meets the Brazilian statue, Christ the Redeemer. Yeah, it's glorious. And it is huge, not only in what it means, but of course, it just means more, Trent. Of course, the West, the rivalry trophy, everything. It just means more. Of course, history of the Cup, Pensacola. We hate to see it, but that's where we are. So we got to end it somehow, or else we'll just have to throw another one up there on the board. Luckily, we're not going to finish any lower than second. So not at risk at the 2022 situation, as the Roots will not be joining us this year. But of course, the 850 Cup between the 850 area code teams, us in Pensacola, going at it. So that'll be exciting. So this is the history of the matchups, Trent. So we've played them 9 times. We've gotten results 6 of those games. But down here at home, Trent.
Don't do it.
A little tough, as you can see the bottom half of that screen. Of course, we got them back in the GCPL days, but the caveat, have never gotten a win against PFC at the Gene. Oddly enough, we've tied them in that fake away game in 2022. We beat them, but that was at the old fields on FSU's campus back in those GCPL days, as you can see on the left-hand side of that graphic.
So you're telling me that we're not just playing for the 850 Cup on Sunday. We're not just playing for our dad, Chris Petley, on Sunday.
Mm-hmm. So much more, Trent. So much more. We got to take down Dean, because Dean at the Gene is mean, Trent. And then, of course, is Dean Logan, one of the coaches I respect the most in the conference, probably the most outside of JDC, just what he can do. And to me, I see the value of a coach. I know your boy, Coach Tight Pants out at Southern States, has won it previously. Jacksonville guys won it before. But, I mean, they've had the top talent in the league. So, I mean, that's what a coach with good talent's supposed to do. I think Coach Dean always hits above his weight, getting his guys to play above where they are, and it plays out. He's got the recipe of any coach to play 3 or more times at the Gene. He's got the highest points per match, undefeated, and of course, above 2 points per match. So 3 wins, 1 tie. So, of course, that's incorrect. It's not a perfect 3-0. But in officially sanctioned home games, he's 3-0 at the Gene. With a, what is it, a +5 goal differential, I think it is?
Yeah, something dumb. We're going to get them all back this week.
So, keep an eye out
for the Gene.
Subplot line as we come up on, about to put a bow on this thing here going forward. What else we got in the mix, Trent? I don't even remember what we wanted to talk about. Oh, yeah, just some housekeeping, if you care, all the shenanigans with the South Florida Consortium, the shadowy cabal that is those teams down south. So there was no news. Nobody said anything about the game that just didn't happen on Saturday. Naples ran away to play in some cup up in South Carolina. So they left, the Gulf Coast, Sunshine, Orange Blossom, Beachfront Conference out to dry, right? So they're like, hey, Miami, get wrecked. Let's come back and play the day before the 4th of July. It's going to be an absolute scorcher down there in Naples, Trent, for that one.
I just don't understand them, Juve. I'm going to go off real quick because it's like, one, you're not even streaming your games, which is a direct violation of league policy. And then two, you're just not even going to show up to your own game. Like, oh, yeah, we've got this camp that we're going to go to. Like, what? Go join another league or just quit. Like, what are we doing?
But there was no notification, too. It was just like, all right, we'll keep rolling. Like, this is off the National League, and the National League website still lists this. I know they got their problems, but this is what we had going on. And then what's even more interesting is the old switcheroo down here on the left is, Trent, it's really tough to get two franchises on the same page in order to switch a game or reschedule a game, as we know. But to get three completely separate entities in order to work out a little swap-a-doo here, they switched. They just traded the games. They kept the same game time and everything. They just said, all right, Naples, we're going to switch you out for GSP Naples, completely different franchise altogether. Definitely not related.
Just makes you wonder.
There you go. So that's what the old I feel like that should be a segment in all its own, Trent. Going forward, we'll have a WTF South Florida segment. It's just like, what the heck are those guys up to? And this could be kind of, I guess, our weekly installment of what are those South Florida guys up to?
And that's the thing, dude. It seems like every freaking week it's some other bull crap that they're pulling down there. So I'm all about it. We'll save that for the end. Like, we can put a bow on our pod and be like, okay, now it's time for our whatever segment is called.
Yeah, jokes of the week. Jokes of the week. And then I think the only thing we got going forward is TSC's remaining schedule, right? We pretty much touched on everything. Oh, we got to talk about the precarious situation here for TSC playing Pensacola. That's one thing we forgot.
What do you mean?
So, the back line.
That's what you mean.
The back line. Yeah, I didn't want to sleep on that. Kind of going back to the New Orleans game. On the left, you see Tristan Monroe, of course, our big right back, who's been doing really well since he got here. Double yellow against New Orleans. So he got a red card, so he will be unable to participate in the PFC Daddy Day game going forward here, the big 850 Cup finale. Obviously, Rafa's gone, so once again, wishing Rafa the best. He's attending to some family matters, so heavy heart on that one back in Spain. And then, so we don't know about John because John went into that head-to-head collision and he was going through concussion protocol. So head injuries are weird, dude, and I don't want to say for sure that he's going to be a guarantee. So I think in the back of your mind, if you're trying to prepare for this game, I don't think you can necessarily say John's good to go because he's still in that quote-unquote concussion protocol. So I just want to throw that into the mix. Nothing's been communicated to me since Saturday night, which at least Saturday night he was doing well. So we hope that's still the case, but head injuries, it's never linear. So, we just want to throw that out there that potentially you could be missing two of the three people that we had out there playing defensively here on Saturday, Trent.
So I may have an unofficial update on Mr. John Varela.
Okay.
I happen to have a close personal friend who is a resident in the neighborhood that he's currently staying in.
Okay.
This time here in Tallahassee. And he was spotted yesterday at the park at the front of the neighborhood, kicking some balls around with the local kids. So, I mean, I can't say for sure that he's going to be available, but I mean, he's already out there kicking the ball around. So he's on the right path.
All right. Building the community game. That's what we talk about. And you'd never know, right? But he's out there bringing up the local game. So maybe in 10 years, you'll see those kids playing for TSC. So good on you, John. John, and I was told Jose was out there as well. Correct, Trent?
Yes, Jose as well. Forgive me.
Good on you, boys. So you think about it, as far as head injuries, typically the thing with the concussions, you want to avoid bright lights, or that's very irritating. So if he's out there in the sun, it was an absolute roaster of a day on Monday, the day you're referencing. And so that's a good sign. But, we want to throw that out there. So we'll flip it to the thing of, all right, so let's say, what is your back line looking like, Trent? So let's say, first scenario, we'll go worst case scenario, John can't go. So we've got no Rafa, we've got no John, we've got no Tristan. So that would vacate the current back line, would only leave you Trice on the left. So of course, pending that it wouldn't change anything significantly as I try to make this notation down in my notes here, Trent. Where or what do you kind of speculate that we go into? Or who would you plug in and why, I guess is kind of the question I'm getting at.
So we've seen Cody Sundquist play in that right center back at times where Tristan's been playing, but like we mentioned earlier, I really didn't think that was his best role.
Mm-hmm.
I think that him playing in midfield is where he's best suited at. So another player that we've seen on that right-hand side that I think could make an impact would maybe be Alex Thompson, Coach Thompson. I think that he's got the pace and the physicality to where he could play there. Obviously, we've got Trice on the left, like you said, and then in the center, I would probably go with Ali Sassanka just because he is so physical. He is so strong on the ball. He is really big on communicating with his teammates, and I think that would be a perfect fit there if we were, hopefully, not to be without John Varela.
Oh, okay. Gotcha. All right. So I like that. Okay, let's say that we do have John. So we'll put John in the middle where he played. Well, I assume that you would do that. So don't let me say, okay, so let's say we have John. What would your back three look like if we were going to keep that same formation with John in the mix?
Then I'd probably just keep Alex at the right back and keep Ali in the center just because Ali is so strong and Ali is so poised and sets up his teammates so well. You don't really want to lose that in the middle of the pitch and drop him back as a defender. So I think I'd keep Ali in the center of the pitch and then just bring Alex back, and hopefully his pace and his physicality on the ball will be able to stop any Pelican attackers.
Okay, interesting. Okay, so I got another scenario for you here, Trent. And so I say it's going to be hot out there, right? So I like to dip into the pool. How about we dip into a little bit of the youth movement, right? So here's my kind of situation. I agree with you. I think Cody's too much of a threat to bring back into the back line. I mean, New Orleans out there, he was serving, right? And I think he set up basically both sequences on the service across the field to set up both of Rob's goals out there. And then you could see the work that he was doing as well. So I like him staying in the midfield, so I agree with you. What do you think about bringing up some of the Tallahassee guys? So you bring Otis up into the 18. So Otis has got some experience at Clarkson. You put him in that center back role. You keep Trice on the left, and then you bring back Stone Cold, and you put Ethan Stewart on that right back situation. And then you can keep then this is without John. I want to make that for the record. Without John. And then you can kind of make that kind of similar as you feel there. And then you can kind of keep Ali up in the midfield because I think he's got value there. And then, basically the most of the flow you can kind of keep from midfield up.
I'm liking that.
Yeah.
I forgot about Otis. I did see him out there at the ASG game.
There you go.
Well, I mean, come on, man. We're bringing in all these guys every week. We got new players, new faces in the 18.
Yeah. And then if John's healthy, I think you keep John in the middle. But I also like Otis coming back. And I think Otis, regardless, on that back line, I put him probably at right back.
And we've seen him play some defender in the last year or two with the Battle Lions, whether that be with the Academy, with ASG, with the senior team. So
yeah, senior team early season last year. Yeah, he was center of the park, kind of that center early in the season especially. But yeah,
played well.
Putting in some good minutes. Absolutely. And that's what he's been. It actually led to a catalyst to change his positioning up at Clarkson. So he actually, this past season, was playing defender because of what he did at TSC and just the comfortability of it. And so that's what TSC does, man. Grows the game, gives these guys opportunities. That's what it's all about.
Hell yeah.
But that's the what we have going forward. I think we had one more item of discussion, Trent. Oh, yeah, going forward. So what the schedule lies ahead. That was the one thing we wanted to put a bow on it. I know we wanted to talk the injury, the back line, since that was weird, / the no Tristan this weekend. So looking ahead, Trent, this is the rest of the season. We're halfway home officially. And this is what we got. 4 matchups to put a bow on the West, and then the road trip What sticks out at you?
I mean, those next 4 matches, I mean, that's just west, man. That's tough. So you've obviously got the A50 Cup. Pensacola's number 1. Just had 2 really good back and forth games with New Orleans. Each team won, each team lost. Then you got Columbus, who you've drawn with already. You play them home and away. And then, you got to go all the way down to Miami. So that's going to be tough. But hopefully we've seen the Battle Lions beat Miami. So hopefully the Battle Lions can one-up the Dutch Lions again. But, yeah, just 4 really strong West games, right there in a row, right at the end of the season. And, this is Columbus's time. If they're going to really turn it on and actually do something, this is when they're going to do it. So we've really got to be careful going out there to Columbus in a couple weeks.
Yeah, absolutely. And then, of course, the condensed schedule, right? So 13 days, you got 5 games. So you think about the wear and tear, 3 road trips, another big one out to New Orleans, midweek, up to Columbus, which isn't that bad, and then all the way down to Miami. So you think about the Miami game, depending on how the table shakes out, you could be in a 1-2 battle. You could be in a 2-3 battle. You may even, I don't want to say, you may be even a 3-4 battle.
Nah.
The Miami game could potentially, given the result, knock you down one of those seeds depending on what kind of battle you're in. So I feel like you can't just sleep on it. You can't throw it out the window. Hey, last game of the season, it's an East game, because the points per match standing for the East and the West incorporates all 10 conference matches. So, don't kind of sleep on that Miami game late. But yeah, absolutely. The Cup this weekend, and then, of course, the rest of the way. That's all we got. Any other things we need to touch on, Trent, before we hit the old dusty trail?
I think that was pretty all-encompassing.
There you go. Just a brief hour-long, 2-minute long.
Just like we planned.
Yes. We told you not to get used to that 20, 25-minute nonsense. But there it is, episode 40. In the books. Thank you for joining us. Great people. Come on out. Father's Day at the Gene. No better place to hang out. And I'm not going to say that there are going to be free hot dogs by our boys, Blue Coast Federal Credit Union. But I'm not going to say that there's not going to be. So just want to kind of throw that out there. Also, shout out, Trent. I know you had that's one thing that I wanted to show up. For those of you who did not catch the broadcast, of course, you got some real fans in here that are here over an hour long into this one.
Oh, no.
But I want to check out your boy here in the pregame for that last game. Shout out to Blue Coast Federal Credit Union. But your boy goes in here. Look,
you're going to slow-mo it?
There's slow motion. Yeah, we're still stuck in slow-mo. So here's we're talking about.
You can change that.
Yeah, but I feel like it's a good ride right now. And so Troop 44, Troop 45, of course, cooking up all the hot dogs. So the funding was provided by Blue Coast Federal Credit Union. Shout out, official live stream partner at TSC. And then look at that dog. Woo!
Turn it. Got to get the angle so everybody can see.
Man, that's a pro move right there.
Thank you.
So this is during the pregame as we get ready to get going. Boy Scouts partnering with TSC.
Look at that.
So we got some comments from the people. I had some people text me earlier in the week, and they're like, that hot dog looked a little charred. But
it was charred. That's how I like them. I just forgot to ask for it with ketchup.
There you go. So, but it's just the top side, because I saw the dog. It was just that one side, but it had a nice crispness. And you said rave reviews, so I trust you, man.
But that's the thing. You need a little bit of char, though. You just need a little bit. It's just like a seasoning. Like if it's, I need it to be in between medium well and well. So
okay.
It was perfect.
You said it was well done and job well done. So shout out once again, Boy Scout troops here locally, Troop 44 and Troop 45. That's what TSC does. Partner with their local community. Of course, Blue Coast bringing the bag out here to make sure that happened for the first 150 fans, I'm told. All got the goods. And, of course, they ended up cooking over 300 hot dogs, I was told, by night's end. So getting after it.
I only had one, and I'm going to need to have a lot more next time they do.
Yeah, we'll load it up, dude. You got to get ready for Father's Day. It's going to be it'll test you. It'll test you, so you got to get fueled up for the game because it's going to be a big one. I mean, is or is not, Trent, the A50 Cup not meant for the faint of heart.
That was confusing. The 850 Cup is not meant for the faint of heart.
Exactly. Yes.
God, let's get out of here.
Figure out those words. Until then, we may catch you again. But until next time, Tallahassee Talk. I actually pressed the record button. Andrew Jupe, Trenton Young, thank you for coming aboard with us. Be well.